Welcome to my first video on this channel. 1. The numbers of infinity. To understand the mystery we are talking about today, we first have to grasp the scale of the stage. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is a colossal structure containing between 100 billion and 400 billion stars. For a long time, we didn't know if other stars had planets, but today, we know that planets are the rule, not the exception. On average, every star has at least one planet. Even if you are extremely pessimistic and assume that only 1% of those stars are similar to our Sun, and only 1% of those have an Earth-like planet, we are still talking about 100 million potential Earths in our galaxy alone. Now, multiply that by the 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. The number of possible homes for life is a number with 20 zeros. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Our Earth is only 4.5 billion years old. This means that for billions of years before our planet even existed, there were other worlds where life could have started. If even one civilization reached a level of technology just slightly ahead of ours, they should have already colonized the entire galaxy. Yet, when we look up, we see nothing. No radio signals, no megastructures, no messages. This is the Fermi Paradox. 2. The Kardashev scale and Dyson spheres. To understand what kind of footprints we are looking for, scientists use the Kardashev scale. It measures a civilization by its energy consumption. A Type 1. Civilization can use all the energy of its home planet. A Type 2 can use the total energy of its star. A Type 3 can harness the energy of its entire galaxy. A Type 2 civilization would likely build something called a Dyson sphere, a massive swarm of solar collectors that completely surrounds their sun to capture its energy. This would be impossible to hide because it would glow with infrared heat. Astronomers have scanned thousands of galaxies looking for these heat signatures, and so far, they have found absolutely nothing. It seems that either nobody reaches Type 2, or they are using energy in a way we cannot even imagine. 3. The Great Filter, the universal barrier. One of the most powerful explanations for this silence is the theory of the Great Filter. This theory suggests that in the long journey from a single-celled organism to a spacefaring empire, there is a step that is so difficult that almost everyone fails. If the filter is behind us, it means we have already survived the impossible step. Maybe the jump from simple cells to complex cells, eukaryotes, is the miracle. It took 2 billion years for this to happen on Earth. If this is the filter, then the universe is full of bacteria, but we are the only ones with brains. However, if the filter is ahead of us, we're in trouble. It would mean that every time a species becomes intelligent enough to develop advanced technology, they inevitably destroy themselves. Perhaps the discovery of nuclear weapons, climate change, or runaway artificial intelligence is a trap that no civilization can escape. If the sky is silent because everyone else is already dead, our own future looks incredibly grim. 4. Von Neumann probes, the galactic virus. If interstellar travel is possible, a civilization wouldn't even need to send people. They could send von Neumann probes, self-replicating robots. A single probe could land on a moon, mine resources, build 2 copies of itself, and send them to the next stars. Mathematically, these probes could map and colonize the entire Milky Way in less than 10 million years. In cosmic terms, 10 million years is a blink of an eye. The fact that there isn't a probe in our solar system right now suggests that either nobody has ever built them or something is stopping them. 5. The dark forest theory, survival of the silent. What if the silence is not an accident? What if it's a choice? The dark forest theory suggests that the universe is a place of absolute predator-prey logic. In this scenario, civilizations are like hunters in a dark forest. You don't know who else is out there, and you don't know if they are friendly. Because communication takes so long across space, you can never build real trust. Therefore, the safest move is to stay hidden. And if you detect another civilization, The only logical move is to destroy them before they become a threat to you. If this is true, our radio broadcasts are a terrible mistake. We are like a child shouting in a forest full of wolves, and the only reason we haven't been hunted yet is because our signal hasn't reached the wrong ears. 6. Rare earth and the Goldilocks. Luck. Maybe there is no filter and no wolves. Maybe we are just a 1 in a trillion accident. The rare earth hypothesis argues that the conditions for complex life are much more demanding than we think. You don't just need water. You need a planet with a large moon to stabilize its tilt. You need a giant planet like Jupiter to act as a cosmic vacuum cleaner, sucking up dangerous asteroids. You need plate tectonics to regulate the carbon cycle. You need to be in a very specific, quiet part of the galaxy. If you change just one of these factors, life might never get past the stage of simple slime. 7. Aestivation and digital life. We must also consider that life might not be biological for long. Once a civilization masters computers, they might upload their consciousness into machines. The aestivation hypothesis suggests that super advanced AI civilizations are currently sleeping. For a high-powered computer, heat is the biggest problem. The universe is currently too warm for maximum efficiency. These civilizations might be waiting for billions of years until the universe expands and cools down, which would allow them to process information 10 to the power of 30 times more efficiently. To them, we are just a brief, noisy interruption in their long wait for a colder, better universe. 8. The simulation hypothesis. Finally, there is the possibility that the answer isn't in space, but in the code. If a civilization can simulate a universe, they would likely run millions of simulations. Mathematically, it is more likely that we are in a simulation than in the real base reality. In a simulation, the Fermi Paradox is easy to explain. The simulation might be designed only to study human evolution. Adding other aliens would require too much computing power, so the creators simply left the rest of the universe empty. The stars we see are just a beautiful static backdrop. Conclusion. Our responsibility. Whether we are alone because we are the first, because everyone else is hiding, or because we are in a digital cage, the result is the same. We are the only voice we know of in a vast, silent cosmos. If we are the only ones, then the survival of humanity is the most important thing in the universe. We are the only ones who can give the stars a meaning. If you liked the video, I will be grateful for every like and comment. What do you think is the reason for the silence? Is it a filter, a predator, or are we just a fluke of nature? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching my first video, and I'll see you in the next one.